Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today at Applying Ethology webinar. I'm Karolina. I'm a PhD student from the University of Saskatchewan, and I will be talking about my PhD project that is called Play Behavior as a Tool to Enhance the Quality of Life of Farm Pigs, its effect on physiological and psychological measures. So let's start with some background. Play behavior has been associated with positive emotions and joy from behavioral observations, and in social play in rats, it's been shown that when the rats are playing, the play circuit overlaps with the reward system. So it's been suggested that play in non-human animals is self-rewarding and performed for its own sake. And because play is performed when all animal needs are met and ceases when there are some challenges, for example, disease or injury, it's been suggested as indicator of good welfare. And also, ultimately, this can have positive effects on the emotional states and support positive welfare. Play behavior in pigs occurs naturally between 2 to 6 weeks of age and declines with age. And it's known that play behavior is crucial for the development of social, motor, and cognitive skills. But this research has been done predominantly in pre-weaning on early post-weaning pigs, and function of play in older pigs is not very well known. Also, it's not very well known in other mammals. Some authors suggest that play in older animals has a rebound effect, so it's performed as a coping mechanism to some stressful events. And my PhD project investigates if play behavior can be a tool to enhance the quality of life of farm pigs. And we work in the fully or partially slaughterhouse farms, which are the majority of global pig production. And in these farms, it's not possible to provide bedding. The farms in North America are also larger, with thousands of hogs compared to Europe, and we are looking for a solution for a large-scale application in this dominant housing system, which is fully or partially slotted. So to investigate this question, we have several objectives, and the first objective is if play is to be used as a tool to enhance the quality of life of farm pigs, we have to first ask, is it possible to promote and sustain play in grow finished pigs in commercial environment? Our second question is play actually positive for pigs? Third question is, does play alter pigs' emotional state positively? And fourth question is about disease resilience and the effects of play on disease resilience. We will start with the first question. Is it possible to promote and sustain play in grow finished pigs in a production environment? To do this, we need to realize that we are working within the limits of restricted and barren environment. Therefore, we need to take into account the pig behavior and work with elements that are suggested to promote play. And it's been shown that pigs prefer novelty. They also prefer destructible, edible, and chewable objects. They get excited from extra space, and there is also this element of positive association with a stock person that can be used. To investigate this objective, we had 288 growing pigs from 10 to 21 weeks of age, and we had our control treatment that was housed in a standard partly slotted home pen. And then we had our two play treatments. Novelty treatment was housed in the same pen, but it had intermittent play promotion in the same home pen with novel enrichment object. And our second play treatment was playpen treatment that had intermittent play promotion in a larger playpen with the same novel objects. The novelty was supported with intermittent play promotions. 6 times a week in 30-minute play sessions over 3 days. And we gave the pigs various combinations of destructible and chewable enrichment objects that was rotated weekly. You can see examples of the objects here. It was cardboard, burlap, rope, wood, some popcorn and straw. We also sprayed the objects once a week with 3 types of essential oils, 1 oil at a time. We used thyme, garlic and lavender, and playpen treatment received the PlayStation in a larger space. And we are aware that we gave the pigs a lot of things, but this was a proof of concept, and we really wanted to know if this will work. And we recorded play behavior, locomotor, social, and object play, and we grouped it in a total play, which I will present to you. We recorded the behaviors at 11, 16, and 21 weeks of age. And on this slide, we see the results, the frequency of total play behavior during the 30-minute play promotion. So let's first focus on the 11 weeks of age. We see that both play treatments, novelty and playpen, played more frequently compared to control. And after that, in week 16 and 21, the play decreased, but in week 16, novelty and playpen still played more frequently than control. And in week 21, the playpen played more frequently, than control, and also more than novelty. And our conclusion is yes, play can be promoted and sustained in grow-finish pigs in a commercial setting, regardless of whether extra space is available if pigs are given novel enrichment. And this was our proof of concept, and we proved it. Next, we will focus on our second objective, which is asking, is play positive for pigs? And how do we do this? We can estimate how the play is perceived by pigs from behaviors and body postures linked to positive and negative experiences. And we did this with anticipatory behavior and ear and tail postures. So in anticipatory behavior, we measured attention to stimuli, which was facing front of the pen, and also increased play behavior. And we did this with an experimenter walking back and forth in the pig room for 2 minutes to stimulate positive association. And we measured this also at 11 and 16 and 21 weeks of age. And for our results of the anticipatory behavior before play promotion during these 2-minute periods, we saw in the facing front of the pen, the novelty and playpen actually really faced for longer duration the front of the pen, so they were paying more attention to the stock person walking back and forth compared to control. And also in the play, novelty and playpen performed more play behavior in 21 weeks of age. So we can indicate that playpen treatments performed more anticipation compared to control. Next, we looked at ear postures, their frequency of ears forward and relaxed that were previously associated with positive events, and ears relaxed were described as loosely ears hanging forward, whereas ears forward were firm ears pointing up. And then we looked at ears backward that was previously associated with a negative event. And for the results of the ear postures during play promotion, first we will look at ears relaxed, where we see at 11 weeks of age that again novelty and playpen showed ears relaxed more frequently compared to control. And this happened again at 21 weeks of age in playpen that showed ears relaxed more frequently than control. In years forward, we have overall treatment effect where only playpen showed more years forward compared to control. And regarding the years backward, we had some interactive effect with sex and treatment, and we have differences in playpen females compared to control females, and playpen males compared to control males. But overall, play treatment pigs, novelty and playpen treatments showed more behaviors previously linked to rewarding event and less behaviors associated with aversive event compared to control. And as a conclusion for the objective asking, is play behavior positive for pigs? Yes, play opportunities indicate positive experience for pigs and might offer an approach to support positive welfare in commercial settings. And this work, the play promotion in grow-finished pigs and the relationship between behaviors indicating positive experience and physiological measures, has been now published, and I will be more than happy if you can read it and get to know more information about this exciting project. And our next objective is dealing with the pig's emotional state, and we are asking if play alters pig's emotional state positively. We explored this objective with cognitive bias, specifically judgment task, that has been suggested as a measure of animal emotions. And from the 5 domains, we are aware that the mental and affective state are encompassing all the 4 domains of nutrition, physical environment and health, and behavior interactions. And then the mental and affective state actually determines the welfare status of the individual. And there is also evidence from sows that enriched environment with substrates induce positive cognitive bias. For this objective, we used a subsample from the treatments mentioned previously. We selected 6 pigs per treatment when they were 18 weeks of age. That means that novelty and playpen treatments were receiving regular play promotion for 8 weeks already. All pigs were trained daily to tell apart positive and negative sound cue. The positive sound cue was followed with an edible reward, and the negative sound cue was followed with a mild punishment. It was a stick with a plastic bag, and each pig had 12 days of training, meaning 120 trials to respond, 10 trials per day per pig. And we taught the pigs to respond correctly for the go response, which was the following. After hearing the sound, the pig was supposed to come to the hotspot, which was correct, whereas after hearing this sound, which was the negative sound cue, the pig was supposed to stay, and the opposite was true for the incorrect or wrong response. For positive sound cue, it was no go, and for the negative sound cue, it was go response. And the goal of the training was to meet the training criteria defined as correctly responding 3 times in a row within a 30-second time limit. For the testing, the pigs were tested in 2 cognitive bias tests with ambiguous cue on 2 consecutive days. And the ambiguous cue was a neutral sound cue that was testing the cognitive bias, assessing the optimistic and pessimistic pigs. And it was introduced in a random order determined by a dice with positive and negative sounds, and each pig received 5 trials per cue per test. And the optimistic response was defined as a go response. So after hearing this sound, the pig was supposed to come to the hot spot But if after hearing the same sound didn't come, it was classified as a pessimistic response. In terms of the results from the training phase to tell apart positive and negative sound cue, in control treatment, 0% of pigs trained successfully, meaning no pig passed the training criteria. In novelty and playpen, there were 4 pigs out of 6, meaning 66% of both treatments meeting the training criteria and being trained, which was statistically significant. Based on this, we decided to test also the untrained pigs in the cognitive bias test. And the results will be presented in the next slides. So because some pigs were not trained, we needed to make new groups. So we had untrained control of 6 pigs, and then novelty was divided in trained control of 4 pigs, untrained novelty of 2 pigs, and the same for playpen. Trained playpen of 4 pigs and untrained playpen had 2 pigs. We analyzed the results in 2 ways, proportion per pig, and then also in logistic regression, showing probability for a response, but untrained novelty and untrained playpen had to be excluded due to small sample size. Here we have results from the ambiguous sound cue that was actually testing the cognitive bias. And first we will focus on the graphs, and overall from both tests we see that each pig responded very differently, so there was a high pig variability. But I think the overall message is that the play treatment pigs, be it untrained or trained, responded more with the go response, meaning the optimistic response compared to untrained control, which was also shown in the predicted probability for a go optimistic response, with trained novelty and trained playpen showing 30% of probability to go in test 1 and 50 and almost 50 in the test 2, compared to untrained control showing a lower probability. For the positive sound cue, we have a little bit more straightforward results. And again, there was some big variability, but when we look at the playpen and novelty play treatments, we see higher proportion to go to respond correctly after hearing the positive sound cue compared to untrained control, which is again shown in the predicted probability for a go correct response. The trained novelty and trained playpen is showing almost 70% of probability to actually respond correctly compared to untrained control, which was almost statistically significant. And in test 2, there is 100% of correct response in the play treatments compared to 43% in untrained control, which was significant. In the negative sound cue results, we will first look at the graphs again. So we see that the groups are not very different. The probability to no-go, which was a correct response, doesn't differ, which is again shown in the predicted probability in test 1 and also test 2. And it's interesting because we can also ask what motivation was driving the pigs. Was it fear not to go, or the pigs really learned not to go in the training, which was the case for the play treatments. However, the results are not significantly different between groups. So the conclusions and some implications from this study are that based on the responses to the ambiguous sound, we can indicate that play treatment pigs, playpen and novelty treatment, were more optimistic, and also the play treatments had some positive effects on the learning and trainability of the pigs. So we saw that the playpen and novelty treatments were less fearful, they were better coping in novel situations in the novel training area, which can have practical implications for the swine industry, be it in the electronic self-feeder training or easier pig handling. However, we can also ask whether cognitive bias is a suitable measure of animal emotions. We can say from our own experience that training the pigs was very challenging, but it can be still used as a suitable measure with modifications. We had some issues with sample size, so always larger sample size is better, but it's laborious to train the pigs. And also we experience some competing motivations, be it social motivation of the pig wanting to be with the pen mates, or feeding motivation, being very motivated for the feed reward, or vice versa, not motivated at all. Also, some pigs showed very fearful response to the punishing reinforcement, whereas some pigs were not fearful at all and were very bold. So there is this factor of fearful and bold pigs. So talking now about our last objective, asking what are the effects of rearing pigs with play on disease resilience. Here we explored it with a disease challenge. We reared pigs with play opportunities and explored the effects on disease resilience in inoculated pigs with porcine reproductive and respiratory virus. And we based this experiment on the evidence that there is an interplay between positive emotional state and health, and this was seen in humans and also in animals. And there is some research that pigs reared in environment promoting positive experiences, for example, providing substrate or social enrichment, the pigs showed faster purse clearance, and also they demonstrated less severe clinical signs compared to conventionally reared pigs. So we hypothesized that if play is rewarding, there should be a positive effect on disease resilience, and we used a disease that is relevant for the swine industry, PRRS. And for our methods, we had a play treatment that was reared with play promotion from 5 days of age. We offered these pigs extra space with destructible and durable objects for 3 hours every day. And then we had our control treatment that was reared in standard farrowing pens without any play promotion. So the pigs were born and we called this day 0. At day 5, for play treatment, the play promotion started with daily play opportunities. At day 15, we performed backtest on every pig, where we classified the pigs into low, medium, and high resistors. This was a testing their coping style. And around 4 weeks of age, we weaned all the pigs. And at weaning, we selected 28 pigs for our disease challenge and formed new pen groups. It was 7 pigs per pen and 2 pens per treatment, so in total 4 new pen groups. And from nursery, we transported the new pen groups to disease containment facility biosecurity level 2, where they were housed within the formed pen groups. And in the disease containment facility at day 43 of age, which we called day 0 inoculation, we infected them with PRRS virus. And after that, we again offered play opportunities now every second day. And throughout the infection, we measured skin lesions that we measured also before the infection. We collected blood for cell count analysis and viral load. We also collected data for rectal temperature. We weighted the pigs to calculate average daily gain. We observed clinical signs every day, and we observed play behavior. And we euthanized the pigs with anesthetic overdose 22 days post-infection when the pigs were 65 days of age. So now let's jump into results. First, we have results from skin lesions that are used as a proxy measure of aggression. And we measured pigs pre-weaning and shortly post-weaning, and we see there is no difference between the groups. Shortly before the transport, we have no differences between the groups, but we see first differences after transport, where the control treatment had a higher skin lesion score compared to play. And this was continuing even before the inoculation and until the end of the trial. So the control treatment had more skin lesions, and play treatment had fewer skin lesions during the infection. For the viral load, we see a usual response to the PRRS infection. So there is a huge increase in the viral RNA in both groups, but they are not different. In terms of the blood cells, we measured monocytes. Monocytes are important for the PRRS infection because they are the progenitors of macrophages, and macrophages are the PRRS replication site. So the PRRS attacks these cells and replicates there. And we see a drop after the inoculation in both groups. And then we see increase from day post-infection 4 or 8, but in control the increase was higher. They had higher levels of monocytes at day 8, and this was again seen at day 21. So they had higher monocytes compared to baseline. The control had higher monocytes, whereas play treatment ended in the same level as the baselines at the end of the trial. For clinical signs, we measured respiratory distress, and we will focus here on moderate and severe respiratory distress. And we classified this as a subtle if moderate distress, or obvious if severe distress, abdominal effort with or without increased respiration, and increased respiration was classified as 40 breaths per minute or more. And for the results, we see that number of pigs experience moderate or severe respiratory distress at least for 1 day was 11 pigs in play treatment compared to 14 pigs in control treatment. And for number of days experiencing this moderate and severe respiratory distress out of 21 days, we see that control treatment experienced this distress significantly more days, almost 12 days compared to 4 days in play. and probability to experience moderate and severe respiratory distress was again higher in control. It was 91% probability to experience this distress compared to 35% in play treatment pigs. In terms of performance metrics, we measured average daily gain post-inoculation and also feed efficiency. So first, let's look at the graph of average daily gain. We see that the average daily gain in play pigs was higher in period 3, which was the second half of the infection. It started at day 13 post-infection. And it was almost significant in period 4. So the pigs were gaining more from the play treatment. And also we see a similar result in pen level gain to feed during infection. Play treatment pigs were more efficient in converting 1 kilogram of feed into body weight than control pigs. They gained 0.72 kilo when eating 1 kilo of feed compared to 0.57 kilogram in control while consuming 1 kilogram of feed. When looking at play and exploratory behavior only in play treatment during 10 minutes of play promotion, we see that the play pigs actually didn't stop playing even after inoculation. So even though we see, for example, in the locomotor play, here in the left upper graph, that the highest level are before the inoculation at day -2. We still see a level of play after the inoculation, and this is the case for all 3 types of play: locomotor, social, and object play. So we can assume that the motivation to play was high. And also we looked at exploration, and exploration is higher in terms of time compared to play. The pigs were still exploring, which is less energetically demanding compared to play. And there was some drop in exploration at day 11 post-infection when the clinical signs were also the highest. So the play pigs adjusted their activity levels to the recovery status. So to conclude this experiment about the effects of play on disease resilience, we saw a modified immune and clinical response during the infection in pigs reared with play. And based on the evidence of less severe clinical signs, different immune responses, and also motivation to play during the infection, we can assume that the play pigs mounted more effective immune response, which resulted in enhanced disease resilience. And the finding that the play was still rewarding and motivating for the pigs, even though they were disease challenged, is important because this is confirming the rewarding properties of play that have implications for pig health and welfare. And of course, all these results that I've shown you are coming back to the applications of the science, because we are doing the research and the science to be applied, and we are building the evidence and showing the value of positive experiences for farm pigs. And this PhD project has shown that provision of play opportunities can enhance resilience against common modern production challenges. We are also aiming for application of these findings in the code of practice for the care and handling of pigs. These findings can be used as a behavior-based measure, and the code of practice is a nationally developed guidelines in Canada. And play behavior can be also validated as an on-farm welfare assessment as a marker of positive animal emotions, and some of our findings confirm this assumption. And to sum up this presentation, I want to emphasize that with this PhD project, we are supporting the development of animal-friendly husbandry systems to improve the quality of life of intensively farmed pigs. And we are also aiming to incorporate this approach into enrichment routines to really apply the findings. And also, it's really important to foster good relationships with swine industry stakeholders, because our end goal is real-world application, and we want this science to be applied and to enhance the quality of life of farm pigs. And with this, I would really like to thank to our funders that are spread all over Canada. And of course, I would like to thank my wonderful research team at the University of Saskatchewan, all the PhD students, my supervisor, Dr. Yolande Seddon, research assistants that helped me with the project, and also thanks to our collaborators from Video, Prairie Swine Center, and University of Saskatchewan. And our last slide is a promotion of our website. We have a swinewelfare.ca website. Please go and look, and you will learn more about all the exciting research projects we are doing in our team. And with this, I will take any questions. Thank you.